Hello, this is a project for Nick and Mike. We're going to be talking about the differences in cultures that we saw while in Spain. First thing that we noticed was a major one was all the cathedrals and churches that we went to were extremely ornate, had really fine details, built anywhere from back in the 16th and 15th century right up to modern era. Some churches would even have different facades with all different looks and different architects and designs, which is pretty cool and unique.
The churches usually were made by different artists throughout 400 or 500 year periods. And each different type of stone that was made by each different artist had their own little signature or symbol representing who made it at the time.
When it comes to the food of Spain, the food is very different than here in America. We see a lot of processed and fast foods, which aren't really a predominant source of food for them. Eating a lot of different foods such as gooseneck barnacles, which have to be harvested by hand, something you really don't see in this country. A lot of tapas style eating, which are smaller plates rather than big huge meals. And even when you got a big huge meal, there were still smaller portions of food. Their seafood was extremely fresh in the region that we were in, and we even saw something crazy like horse meat, which I found very unique.
While the seafood, while we were on the boat, it was pretty amazing to see how a family, like a son and his mom, the owners of the company, just grabbed seawater and cooked their own mussels in there. I thought that was pretty interesting and something you don't really see in America. Another thing that we saw that was made homemade by a family was Queso Campo Veja. It's a sheep's farm, and they made all types of different sheep's cheeses, all the way aged and smoked for up to a year.
The next thing that I found pretty interesting was the legal drinking age was lower. Some people that were 18 years old, 16, 15 years old, drinking, weren't really being ID'd or checked, and they weren't abusing the lifestyle and privilege that they had. They were acting like it was no big deal. They didn't get too drunk. And it's something that America really, I think, should learn from and should try to emulate. Because even in this country where the drinking age is 21, you have people as young as 10, 11 drinking and abusing it, and it's causing more problems, health problems in this country. And you really didn't see that over there.
While the legal drinking age, I was talking to a few people from town, and they were saying that in Spain, usually, like legal drinking is so accepted that since you're getting it with food, you get less drunk so quickly. And I think that really helps them over here in America. People drink just to drink or just to get drunk, and that's something they don't really do over there.
hmm Another thing was the road sizes. The roads were much smaller in many small towns, and it was make it so that they could easily walk through. And the cars were smaller because of it. And I don't know, I just found it quite interesting. Where here in America we have such large roads to match, I guess, our large people.
They were so small that a bus didn't even fit on them sometimes.
Another thing is when you're driving on that bus that didn't fit in most of the roads, you saw vineyards literally everywhere, just littered the roadways, vineyard after vineyard after vineyard. Some is small for just individual families, and some super huge where the companies are making millions upon millions of bottles of wine every single year.
Their vineyards, like looking onto different types of rivers, that gets the climate comfortable enough for the grapes to grow, which is pretty interesting.
They have just a much more relaxed lifestyle. It's easy to just take a siesta, take a nap whenever, and they still get the job done. But at the same time, I wonder because they are such a hurting culture as far as the unemployment rate being so high and people in such a financial need. If that relaxation will go away eventually, just because of a need to have more work.
Another thing I found interesting was that the sun didn't go out till 11 o'clock at night, which made it pretty awesome because people were out all night just with their family or their kids out till late at night. And it's something you don't really see back home because the sun goes down so early.
Yeah, definitely. The sun affects their culture in many ways. One of the things that I noticed too is they're very more of a sexually based culture, and the fact of it's not something that's frowned upon. It's something that's embraced, and that's just who they are as people. They're trained from a young age to accept their bodies.
Another thing I really liked about the people there was how they took the time out of their day to introduce us to their families and cook for us. And it's basically like this ritual that we see right here. It was something that they've done for centuries, and he basically read it out for us and showed us how they do it back in the day.
Yeah, we met a lot of great people. Everybody from the fishermen at Poper Sabo to Paco Diaz to the wait staff at Compartir, where they don't care about making money. They care about serving you as a person and making sure that you are truly happy. We even saw that when we were in not Barcelona, Basque Country, with their festivals. They were just having a festival just for the sake of having a festival because that's how they operate. So we just met these really awesome people who really care about what they're doing, and it's just something you really, really never see.
Thank you.
So this is our video on Spain. When you reflect on everything that's gone on with Spanish culture and what makes them unique compared to our culture here in America, it makes you realize that we have a lot of benefits here that most countries don't have as far as employment and as far as a great lifestyle is concerned, but at the same time, what I saw in Spain was they are more humble and they're more happy. They don't care about possessions like we do in America. They care more about their people and their lifestyle more, which you don't find here. It was definitely culture shock from me. I wasn't expecting to see that. I knew Spain would be different, wasn't quite sure how. So it was a huge, huge, huge culture shock. I mean, here in America, we're famous for fat people, fat wallets, and fat houses, and you don't really see that over there. So it's something very, very different.
Yeah, their lifestyle is definitely more party oriented. They like to sleep throughout the day, several hours a day, and then when they usually get out of work around 7, that's when they start going out. When I was talking to a couple of locals, they said the bars usually don't start popping at around midnight, and then you go to the bar, or you go to the club at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning until 7:30. That's something you really see back home unless you're in New York City or Los Angeles or Las Vegas, which many people don't get a chance to experience either.
The locals view American as just lazy people, even though we work more than them. And it's because while we're working, we're really not. You see people on Facebook, you see people doing other things, talking to their coworkers, but when Spaniards work, that's what they do. They work and they get the job done, and they make sure that they do the best they can for your satisfaction. Everybody that we met was questioning us on whether or not they were doing enough to make us happy, and I was just completely amazed by that, and it upsets me that that's their view of American culture, but that's the truth of what American culture is, unfortunately. So that's our video, and we hope that you enjoy Professora, and we had a great time in Spain. So thank you.